Welcome, one and all. This is the Peace Dealer, and I hope you get the utmost of quality from this webinar. And welcome to this Full Moon in Gemini webinar, where we'll have an exciting opportunity to really embrace the change. This represents lunar cycle. Shout out to everyone in the live chat. Much love. And this is a full moon that's going to usher in change. When we think of full moon and new moons, we're talking about the establishment of 2 weeks worth of a lunar cycle. And so over the next 2 weeks, we're going to step into massive change. This full moon is leading into 2 weeks of massive change. And then the new moon in Sagittarius is leading to 2 weeks of more massive change, leading into a full moon in Cancer, to where the whole 28 days of change that starts now will finally move forward with this Capricorn season cycle. So the change starts now. The change didn't start the past 2 weeks because it was a new moon in Scorpio. So we were laying the seeds so that we can go fish-hearted over the past 2 weeks and feel into the depth of what we desire. Now we're releasing that into Gemini, as over today and tomorrow, we're coming into a profound meaning of our truth. So it's change moving forward. That being said, we're going to talk briefly about the spiritual politics of this full moon in Gemini. And after we do so, we will go into the Peace Mobile, and we're going to look at a visual and see the third quarter square and balsamic phase. After we do that, I'm going to draw cards for the 12 signs and give a little bit of interpretation of how this will affect your rising sign and your sun sign. And then right before we do the question and answer, we will do a special ritual to where we'll write down on a piece of paper what your truth is moving forward. And this is supposed to echo what it is you planted the seeds for the new moon in Gemini. So go back to June. What was the truth of who you are? You're manifesting it now over the next 2 weeks. This is the full moon transit and the new moon transit, where this is the season you're coming into manifesting the past 6 months of work. So we're going to write down not what it is we desire, right? These are seeds we put in 6 months ago, but what it is we're moving forward from this full moon, affirming as our truth. All right. You'll find that within the 6 months, there might have been a few brief changes. If nothing has changed, that's great news. You're definitely very much so aligned. So what I suggest is, over the next maybe 5 minutes or so, before we start this webinar, try and get yourself in the mood. If you need to stand up and just yell at the top of your lungs, because we want to enter this with a good vibration. Me personally, you know what I'm saying, might get a little bit in the mood. I suggest you do so too. One element of this ritual that we're going to implement once again are these high passionate vibrations. So we're going to get ourselves in a very positive state of mind, and then write down what we want, what we need for the ritual. I'll go more into specifics of what we'll be writing down. And yeah, let's just take a short 5-minute break to prepare and get ready. Do whatever you need. If you need to drink a 5-hour energy just to get more amped. And I'll see you soon. I'll be back soon. I got my sage cones. No, I don't need done. I keep calling my mom. All right, yo, let's get the show on the road. That being said, let me see if I can work on it. That being said, welcome to this full moon in Gemini webinar. Got my sage cones right here. So I'll be lighting up. I hope you light up with me. Don't matter what you light up, just as long as you light something up. And yeah, the name of the game is going to change. This mutable season energy is talking about perceptual changes that will happen indirectly because of the level of focus that you've put into up until this point. Your behavioral decisions, your attitude, the decisions that you've made to think certain thoughts and to focus your mind in a certain way are now going to manifest. I wanted you over the past 2 weeks to keep your mind very right-brained and very in your imagination, because now as we're stepping out the gateway, you're going to be more left-brained. You have creative ideas to know how to integrate with your real life. So before we begin, I intend that in this webinar, we cover relevant information and that the message I channel and express speaks to every single one of you, and that the changes we experience not only align us more with our greatest selves, but allow us to see how amazing we can be in our connections with others. One thing to know about Sagittarius and Gemini is Gemini represents the perception of knowledge and truth, and Sagittarius is the meaning of all that fire. So you're going to come into direct revelation of so much in your life that you are not able to go into revelation, because before you can reach level 9 in any game, before you can get a promotion with what you're doing, you have to beat that level 2 sub boss before you can even get to the main boss. You have to earn your stripes. You have been earning your stripes with what you're doing. And a lot of you have been praying to the universe, and praying to the universe is really just more intention setting. A lot of you have been focusing on things that you were not ready for, and your ego could not grasp or handle that you were not ready for certain things that you wanted to experience in your life. Guess what? Now you're ready. And not only are you ready, this is going to literally just show up in your life all suddenly. All right. And ooh, we got someone earning their petty stripes. I see you. Hashtag petty squad. But you are going to have what it is you desire show up. I'm promising you, over the next 2 weeks from now, you can quote the peace dealer. What you have been focusing for the past 6 months on will show up over the next 2 weeks, because you're going to move forward with that into Capricorn season. Okay. So make sure that you're aware what you've, this is not wishing for either. The wishes that you've been wishing for and the stuff that you've been dreaming about, that's going to manifest this full moon in Pisces. I'm sorry, this full moon in Virgo. Because when we had the full moon in Pisces, you were laying the seeds for what you really want to experience in your lifestyle, right? What is the life that you're going to have supporting your heart or coming into the manifestation of that during the supernatural awareness and awakening? Because you had to go through that Leo season and Libra season to realize, oh, wait, I'm more advanced than I ever thought I was. Okay, the things I want are a little bit upgraded. A lot of you have raised the hell out of your standards. So when what you want comes, you're going to approach it in a different way. You're not going to be like, yay, I got it. It's like, you ready to finally move. So really keep that in mind. Gemini is all about changing your attitude. Sagittarius is all about seeing into the meaning of what is. And so this is going to be a very exciting period for those of you who have authentically been aligning with your truth. A lot of what you guys thought you wanted did not align with your truth. So you're going to get what you want over the next 2 weeks. But for some of you, it may not. We're dealing with a Neptune square. So it may not necessarily look like how you expected it to look like. Some of you may want that divine partnership with a certain somebody who you resonate and have a deep soul connection with. And this week, you're going to connect with somebody who you have a deep soul connection, but it may not be the person who you thought it was, or it may exactly be the person you thought it was, but they may not at all be what you projected on them or expected. The relationship may not be at all what you thought. You probably thought you were going to have the happily ever after. You get the partner, but you realize, damn, we have to kill people together. We have to do some serious crap that takes away from the bliss that I wanted. You know what I'm saying? It's less about what you want and it's more about aligning with your truth. Know that this next moon, this full moon, the next full moon, and the next full moon are paving the way for the inevitable North Node in Gemini and North Node in Cancer transit that we'll have. So this is going to reveal how aligned you are with truth. All right. And especially what you're ready to change. Every day this week and next week is a manifestation of what you have put into focus while the moon was transiting the first half. And we're going to get into that when we hop into the Peace Mobile, because you're going to gain change on every level. Once again, it's very important that I reiterate the importance of this being an event that only happens twice a year, leading into another event that happens twice a year. So this event that happens twice a year ushers in a 3-month cycle for another event that happens twice a year, which is the full moon in Pisces and Virgo. Then this ushers another 3-month cycle into the gateway shift. So what happens is we have the gateway shift. And for this new year, we had the Gemini gateway shift. We were going out into the world. We had started our new year developing profound insight and channeling things about ourselves that we got synchronicities for. And we're like, holy crap, I really am this person the universe is revealing me to be, because the South Node is in Leo. So the higher divine intelligent knowledge of who you are is what you've been channeling. It was in Aries and Pisces before. So this is what fleshed out who you were in a past life. Okay. And when it goes into Capricorn, the power you had in that past life is about to get a lot more real. So we started this new season with the North Node in Pisces, or South Node of Pisces, entering Aquarius. And when we hit that Gemini portal, we spent 6 months building an awareness of the experience of this quantum self. The reason why it wasn't complete was because Uranus still had to develop this quantum self. There's something that's going to occur this go around that's going to make this cycle the completion. From Gemini season, we've built, and then we got to Virgo season. So from that first 6 months ago, when we were uncovering the truth of who we are, and if you took this full moon in Sagittarius, new moon in Gemini webinar, it's going to pay off now. Because what did we do? We did a ceremony where we had to affirm, we did a lot of heavy affirmation work, and we spoke our truth. We said, this is who I am. This is the truth of who I am. And we released any false beliefs in the full moon in Sagittarius that ushered us in to the 6 months of supernatural change on an internal level. So even though we were in the real world, the supernatural change was happening on an internal level where we had to work inside our souls, and we had to constantly battle and work with the ideas and thoughts in our mind so that they're aligned with the person who we truly are. That could be very much so distracted. Okay. The square with Pisces, once again, has much so to do with you entertaining different possibilities and potentialities. It's the square to Pisces and Gemini. It's a square from Pisces to Sag and Gemini, why you were engaging with people who seemed like the right thing, with opportunities that seem right, but everything up until now has been a beta test to prepare you for the real thing. Some of you are with the real thing, but you had to beta test certain simulations within it. So what's more important to embrace is that the energy of what you want to manifest is coming in. How it looks and how it presents itself, that is what you'll see come Pisces season. So once again, we shifted profoundly, and it took 3 months for us to come into that, a season, right? We went into Cancer. That was the summer solstice. And then once we got to Virgo season, we set very important intentions. Yeah, we know the truth of who we are, but what is the real truth of that? What are the real facts of that truth? And what is the real life that I want to live that integrates this truth into my existence? So now we had 3 months from then of more internal changes. All right. The difference between the internal changes from Gemini season to Virgo season was internal changes where we had to work on our thoughts and our feelings and our heart. Then from Virgo season, we had to do internal changes where we're working internally on our soul and spirit, but we're showing up. So let me just rephrase that. If anything, we're not even having to work internally. We're applying that internal work by showing up. So now we're in the full moon in Gemini. And this full moon in Gemini is going to now, over the next 6 months, cash in on the internal and external work that we've done to change our perception. This is that type of cycle where you see change is constant. This is that type of cycle where the transition in between seasons has to happen to set up a new pilot where you're going to have new characters and you're going to have much more new experiences. And the reason why this go around is important is because this is the 6-month chapter where Neptune not only goes direct, but Uranus and Chiron are going to shift. So when we come back and revisit this twice a year, this is the second time this year this is happening. So the significance of this being the second shift is us consciously in a collective level bringing our awareness into the real world and focusing on real life things is creating our personal philosopher's stone, is creating our personal vision that we now take in Sagittarius season. And now for the next 6 months, we're diving more into the spiritual realm. Your lucid dreams are going to be more meaningful. Your spiritual experiences are going to be more meaningful, and this time supernatural, because from the time we go from Sagittarius season to Gemini season, Chiron will shift into Aries and Uranus will shift into Taurus. Uranus shifting into Taurus is the completion of our quantum self, to where we not only know who we are, but we're now ready to manifest based off this. Huge. So when I say that you're going to supernaturally shift, I'm saying you're going to supernaturally shift. I'm saying you're going to develop your Kirk. You're going to unlock your Jutsu. You're going to unsheath your Zanpak toe. You're going to come up with your own mythology, which is not mythology. You're going to come up with your own spirituality. There's reality and there's spirituality. We know how reality works, the 6th house, Virgo. We know how spirituality works, the 12th house, Pisces, which is really subjective. The 6th house, 12th house is the difference between objectivity and subjectivity, which could be very divine. So trust me when I say Kirk. My bad. Thank you, Jay, for the correction. Kirk. So it's really important, because you know what I'm saying? This is where you're going to have the culmination of these radical experiences, where before you were just twitching because your body couldn't handle the energetic current passing through, or you were just having like crazy episodic moments on different levels. It's all going to hit you at once. And all you have moving forward are the tangible but unseen ideas, motivations that quirk. There we go. Quirk. There we go. The unseen motivations that you just had to believe. Up until now, you didn't have to fake it until you make it, but you had to believe. You had to teach yourself how to reprogram your body, because a lot of you are waiting for awakening, but you've been awakened for a while. A lot of you awakened 2008 or 2012, once Neptune went into Pisces or once Pluto went into Capricorn, right? So it's like, you have to be in a position where your body awoke, but you were chained and trapped by the programming growing up. So it's like you have a car, but you've been taught so much that you can just walk. So you're in a car, but you don't know how to drive it, because all you know how to do is walk. All you know how to do is walk. People try to, like, you would tell people, I have a car. And everyone that you're talking to is so used to riding horse and buggy. They're like, what are you talking about? Yeah, my car has Bluetooth, so I don't even need to be on the phone. I can just listen to music. And people are like, what the hell are you talking about? What the hell is a car? That's not even possible. I have my horse and buggy. You don't have a horse and buggy. You can only walk. So try and analogize this. Let's assume that you having a car is your ascended state. That's your Merkaba. I pull in that Merkaba like my whip. Shout out to Dolo. And you could say the muggles are the people who are just stuck back in carrying a horse and buggy. Because when you walking, when you just have your feet, riding on a horse is so appealing. Riding on a horse is so appealing. And it's like, you can get to where you want faster. But when you start talking about a car, people don't know how to perceive what the hell you're saying. People don't know what a car is. When you talk about your psychic ability, when you talk about the truth, which is the truth, right? You, up until now, let's just say 2008 was when you started to realize, oh, snap, I don't need to ride a horse and buggy. Pluto entered a Capricorn. I don't need to ride a horse and buggy. We can ride cars. We can change the system. There's something we could do. Your imagination started to get, even though imagination is Neptune and Pisces, your imagination started to get really active. Uranus was in Aries. You're like, I can do something more quantum with this. And then Neptune went into Pisces, and then you saw your car. It might not have been in corporeal form, but you saw your car. And as Jupiter started to move, you gained that car. You built it. See, this is the thing. You didn't just come to the car, you built that car. You built that awareness of your psychic ability. So I mean, if you just got the car, then someone else could see that you got the car. You'd be like, "Where'd you get the car?" Right? But you built that car yourself. Neptune in Pisces was the imagination and the vision of the car. Like, okay, this is what I can create. And when Jupiter went into Aries, you started to build that car. From Jupiter in Aries to Jupiter in Virgo, you built the body of the car. All right, Jupiter in Cancer. So we're talking about 2011 and 2017. You built the body of this car. All right. Jupiter in Cancer to like now, you started building the gadgets. Okay. Soon you're going to drive this car. And once this goes into Sagittarius, you're pulling out of the garage and you're driving the car and you're showing people, yeah, mofos, this car exists. This is where things will get revolutionary. All right. This is the Ascension blend. Shout out to Demir Life. Sienna Van Dirk. She goes hard. Make sure you hit her up. It's amazing, y'all, because a lot of I don't want to just insult people and call them muggles, because I feel like we all have magic, but you are building this car. You have built this car. By now it's done. You have your lifestyle equipped, even if you don't feel ready. And you've been trying to talk to people who only know about a horse carry, riding horses. So when you talk to them about Bluetooth, telepathy, when you talk to them about radio frequencies, when you talk to them about acceleration by just pushing a pedal, right? Energy manipulation, they don't know what the hell you're talking about. You have to show them your car. Like, you can't, they're not even trying to understand what you're talking about. They're just used to horses. So when you're building this, that's your truth. You've been building your truth for years. So when you drive out this car, when you activate the ignition, and because that's where we are right now. Up until now, you've been building your car, and then you've been finding few people. There's so many people who they just ride horses, and some people are open to evolution, but people don't want to evolve. Some people don't want to evolve. They're like, no, we're good with this horse. Like one day we'll have a invention that's better than the horses, but we're good with this horses right now. We're working in development. I don't know what you're talking about. You made it yourself. It didn't come from a company. You made it yourself. Does it even pass certain standards? How can we know it's official? This is what you're having to go through right now. It's not until Jupiter in Capricorn 2020 that you have now made official what you have created. It's happening right now. So you're finally in that period and position to where you've already established this as truth. Okay. 2012, 2011, when Jupiter was in Gemini, 2012, before moving in Cancer, you realized, oh my gosh, this car is the truth. It didn't become a real thing until 2015. 2015 is when the idea of your car finally became physical. And it's like, look, it's real. It's real. I haven't driven it yet. Now that it's in Scorpio, we test driving, but it's real. Okay. When Jupiter went to Libra, we had to show up. So now we're starting to show our car to people. Test car. All right. During your journey, you realized you talked to certain people and you took risks. You're like, yeah, I'm riding this horse and buggy, but I have an idea of a car. Like I'm going to drive a car that can even be faster than a buggy. And then maybe like 1 out of 5 people be like, oh, no way. I'm building a car too. I'm really building more of a motorcycle, but it kind of runs with the same mechanics as a car. Bam. Now you find someone, right? Maybe this is just the same thing as saying, yo, I do astrology. Like I believe in the stars. And someone's like, no way. I started reading tarot cards. You know what I'm saying? And this is Uranus and Aries. So let's take this quantum. We live in an age of cars. So some of you are coming up with ideas for fulfilling the work of the very legendary. Oh God, I can't believe I just forgot his name. Tesla, Nikola Tesla, and who wanted to create free electricity with alternating current. And you're having visions and living in your truth. So what's amazing about this is that we have finally reached the point where this car is so much of your truth. You know, when you're developing your truth, you come into the realness of it before everyone else does. When a company, when Mark Zuckerberg made Facebook and knew it would be the biggest thing, before he knew, he just made the social network. He wasn't even, I'm pretty sure he never expected it to be as big as it was now. He just made it. We have finally gone through the period where we have made it. Some of you may not even be aware that you've been doing some stuff. It's a very rare few of you that may not be aware that your subconscious has been using you to develop something big, huge. Saturn is in Capricorn, huge. And now from Uranus's transit in Aries, this was that realization that will be supplemented with Saturn in Cap. And this specific full moon is when we are now 2 weeks in the making. As we, from now in the full moon in Gemini, we're going to shift into the new moon in Sagittarius. And then from the new moon in Sagittarius, we're going to shift into Capricorn season into the full moon in Cancer. So this 28-day cycle that's sparking now is literally you starting your car and taking it for a test drive. So that once Capricorn season starts, you're driving that car. And you're gaining your own personal experience. And people are seeing your car like, whoa, what's this? Not a coincidence. After that Capricorn chapter, once we're doing stuff with the car, it's going to go to the Aquarius eclipse. And now this is going to be established as new technology. This is when you're going to start networking with people. Now you've done the test drive, which is the Capricorn season. And now Aquarius is that eclipse. So this is it. This is where you're going to really experience at a greater level the Philosopher's Stone in the form of your internal qualities of soul that you're now ready to move forward into the spiritual realm with. Okay. You're going to move past the veil and take a lot of your energy into this dream realm like never before, so that once we go again past Gemini season, we're establishing a brand new arc. So for those of you who want amazing context, we are literally in the in-between point of the time skip that has happened between Naruto and Naruto Shippuden, or 2 seasons of any sitcom. That's one way to look at it, to where June of 2018, we're in the new arc. June of 2018, you're coming back with Jiraiya after a time skip, and you're way stronger than ever, because this next 6 months from Sagittarius season now to Gemini season is us in the spiritual realm behind the veil, practicing and really grinding. Okay. You're taking the car for a test drive. And now that you have spent so long manifesting this car that you created, your new conscious awareness, from December to June of 2018, you're doing the tricks, You're finding out how to drive this bad boy because when you first drive it, you're not going to know how to drift. You're not even going to want to drift. That's Aries season when you're taking risks, right? You're just going to be like, oh crap, this is so much faster. Oh, you're still starting, stop like, whoa, 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 like that's what's about to be Capricorn season, right? And you're still having to find with the new mechanics because what you're doing is of a higher technology. They don't have law. Ooh, they don't have laws. Damn. They don't have laws for your car. They only have laws for buggies. They're not going to have speed limits tested for your car because it's not a thing. You're bringing it into reality. So come Aries season, when this squares Capricorn, there's going to be regulations that may be enforced on you. Hey, we see you're driving something that's not here. We're gonna have to have some kind of enforcement. You're driving way too fast in these buggies. It's dangerous, right? Simultaneously, you might be getting wild, like, "Ooh, I'm so much better at driving this car." This is where you up until now, and you had to come to acceptance. Oh my gosh, like I do have this car. All right. When we were in Taurus season in May, we were like, yo, do you see the quality? When I make this car, I want this car to have this quality. I want this car to have this brand. When it was in Gemini, I wanted to have these features. And then you started fleshing it out. Cancer season, Leo season, Virgo season. You had to deal with certain facets that you couldn't just talk to everyone else with. You couldn't necessarily talk about people to people about your intuition. You couldn't talk to people about certain dreams you had because people didn't even speak the language. Now we're in a position to where you don't need to talk to people. You're so confident in yourself. You have experience with these gifts over years to where now you're evolving the next level of this skill. You're not just barely learning the Rasengan. You're doing the Odama Rasengan. You're having to do more advanced training over the next 6 months. Been there, done that. Because once we go through that Gemini portal in 2018, now it's, yeah, everyone knows about my car. Now I'm doing the tricks. Now I've mastered the tricks. Now I know how to drive this. Now the next chapter is, I want to teach you how to drive this. Now I have to show the whole world why we need to manufacture more of these cars. So that's where we are right now. It's not necessarily going to be manufacturing more psychic ability, but we're headed into a period where you're comfortable with this extra dimensional self and you're at a greater position and level to really share this with people to where you can walk up. Because come 2018, I've beta tested this before, and this is really fun to do, just going to clubs and randomly reading people. Come 2018, I can go to Dry East. Once it's like June or July of 2018, I can go to Dry East. I can go to Marquee. I can go on the strip of Las Vegas and just walk up to people and be like, hey, you, the reason why you're frowning right now is because there's someone you need to resolve conflict with, and you're just in the flow. Like I'm bringing these gifts out there. Hey, whereas before last year, I'd have to be like, well, hold on, let me make sure my intuition's right. Let me pull a card. Now it's like I don't care. It's like, hey, you. I was guided to walk up to you. Like spirit wanted me to walk up to you because you're going through A, B, and C, and just like an angel, go there, next person. So you've been slowly trained to be doing this. Some of you are not angels, right? So you're going to do this in a different way to where you're applying your abilities. And some of you have already been doing this. So you're going to take it to the next level. So that's kind of where we're collectively headed. And as such, this is what just makes this a really amazing period where there is a breakthrough in psychic ability. I really want you to feel that the psychic ability you have harnessed up until now is like a phone that still has limits, right? It's like beta testing. Now we're launching. Now we're jailbreaking the phone. Put it like this. Last month, Gemini, last 6 months ago, we got the phone. Virgo season, we put from Gemini season to Virgo season, we put the settings we wanted on the phone. Virgo season, we activated the phone. Sagittarius season, right? Now from Virgo season to Sagittarius season, we downloaded our apps. Okay. Sagittarius season, we're jailbreaking the phone right now. So what's jailbreaking a phone? Jailbreaking a phone is implementing a certain level of programming, Aquarius, that will remove limits the provider initially put on the phone. You're going to release some seals, all right, that limit the chakra that goes through the gates of your energy system. So this full moon we're jailbreaking, and then the full moon in Virgo Pisces season, we're adding the jailbroken apps. You know how there's some apps you could only have once you jailbreak your phone? Like you can't have them when it's not jailbroken. You couldn't have it Libra season, but you can have it Aries season after we jailbreak and break our limits. So that once we go in through Gemini season next year, we got a jailbroken consciousness. We're just ascending to the next level. All right. So this is huge. This is where you're going to really start to feel like you're in great control of these experiences instead of you just experiencing your power like, oh my God, I just had a text message from somebody who I was just thinking about and you experienced it. Now you control it. This is the beginning of you controlling. 2018 is when, oh, I just realized when I did this, that happened. Cause and effect. 2019 is where you're mastering this. Like, ooh, I'm starting to know how much better I can do this. 2020 is where you mastered it. And we go into revolution when we're in Aquarius. And now we're a society of mastered psychics. Huge shit, guys. So that being said, I'm going to hop into the Peace Mobile. Before I do so, though, remember in this full moon in Gemini cycle, we do have a Neptune in Pisces. And Neptune in Pisces wants you to embrace that the energy of what you experience does not have to be the same as the physicality of what you experience. Neptune realizes that nothing is real like you think it is, even though it exists. So a lot of people think Neptune is a liar. A lot of people think Neptune is deceptive. Neptune is just confusing because Neptune is going to speak to you on a multi-dimensional level. Neptune is going to say, hey, that person is your soulmate. But you might be looking at their physical self, but Neptune is just saying your soul. Neptune is saying, hey, that person is your soulmate. And Neptune doesn't see physicality. Neptune sees vibration. So you might be looking at a physical sense and you're saying, oh, that person is, but Neptune is saying, no, 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 no. The energy within them, that's what you need to look for. That's what is going to come to you. So the thing about energy is that you can have similar frequencies that come in different form. This is what you want to think about if you're getting blocked on a physical level when Neptune is going to be keying you in to the ultimate meaning, but you don't want to get blocked on a physical level. You want to incorporate the vibration behind things. That's the only thing that can get in your way with this square, because there's going to be a whole lot of deception that will only come if you do not really gain the right understanding of how necessarily to see this energy. And not only how to see this energy, but how to perceive the fantasies that may distract you. You want to allow this distraction to inspire you, but you don't want to attach to it. Okay. So with that being said, once again, let us hop into the Peace Mobile. All right.
Can I go to the shop in this time?
Yeah.
As you can hear the engine revving for the Peacemobile. All right, that does not sound like a. That sounds like a Peacemobile. That sounds like a badass car. I think the Peacemobile might be more like a school bus though. So I'm gonna work on that engine sound. But yeah. Uh, as you can see, we are in an interesting position that allows us to harness the nature of the gateway of this energy that's once again opening up for us in at large. And not only opening up for us at large, but also allowing you to experience, because mutable signs are all about experience, to experience the truth of who you are, as well as the awareness of what it is you're willing to transform into, because we still have this Jupiter and Scorpio. The supernatural transformation that's occurring is indicating the Jupiter conjunction that was made to Uranus. And in fact, let's go back in time. Screw it. So I'm wrong. The Jupiter conjunction was made in Pisces, which is even more profound. So this moved into Aries. Okay. And now we have 8 houses away from this. This is what's bringing us a supernatural evolution of our quantum selves, just in case you wanted to know, while also giving us profound beliefs and insight of this divine aware understanding. That being said, today, what we're going to be manifesting, the manifestation is actually going to start tomorrow because the new moon was in Scorpio. Okay. But what we're going to come into is a greater meaning and the truth of the meaning of this deep desire. All right. Which we'll do with the ceremony. Come, of course, the journey to the first quarter square is the harvest. Whatever truth establishes itself all through this week, you're going to be gaining on a mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical level greater faith and greater belief in the world you're ready to build. This is where you're going to once again experience at profound length a lot of this energy start to change and shift. Here, of course, with the opposition to Pluto, this is going to transform how you even act in relationships because of this new information. All right, very gnarly. Now the North Node in Leo will also add its important flair that will give you a greater ability to also, you know what I mean, feel the love and the excitement. This grand fire trine is going to be an amazing opportunity that incorporates this grand water trine of a decision to feel newer about something instead of being caught in the same old feelings. Now we have this third quarter square. Everything factual and real about what you went full fish tart about will manifest. This is where you realize, okay, I got the feeling of the bliss I wanted, but it might not be with the exact same person, or it may not even be the exact same thing. Embrace whatever comes here. Okay. Now we go into the next part of this where, interestingly enough, you're taking what has manifested and you're going to be connecting with the relevant individuals who can help you harness this vision. And then, of course, we have this conjunction to the sun and moon. I mean, Mercury retrograde in the sun, which with this grand fire trine will start to give us a grand realization of how to perceive this energy. Sorry, I like master numbers. And also, sorry, not sorry, but that 21 degrees is also going to give us an epiphany, by the way. So be mindful of what is revealed during this week. But this balsamic phase now is going to be important for us to release any insecurities or any mistrust in ourselves, where you may have to have very deep faith of what your intuition tells you, despite what you see on the surface. You might be picking up what's going to happen in the future, and this will change during this new moon. Okay. So this phase of the lunar cycle is where we ready our phone to jailbreak. And for those of you who are familiar with the jailbreaking process, you have to unlock your phone before you jailbreak it. Before you do the code to jailbreak, you need to unlock the phone that doesn't allow it to be jailbreak. So this full moon in Gemini is unlocking your phone. It's unlocking your abilities that up until now you had harnessing of, but you were just practicing. You were going through the motions. So now once this unlocks, you don't have to learn from scratch what to do. You had all those experiences practicing. And from this new moon in Sag to the full moon in Cancer, we're jailbreaking the phone. And now we're beta testing a jailbreak into Capricorn season. So definitely exciting. It's something that I definitely hope will challenge you all to embrace quite profoundly the unlimited nature of your own personal potential, so that you can step into fully what it is you're meant to step into. Okay. Regardless, though, I'm now going to pull cards for the 12 signs. Let me come right back and get my oracle cards, though. That's not fire. Alrighty, so we're gonna also pull from the Wizards of the Whispers of Love Oracle deck. After this, we're gonna do the ritual. So make sure you get your piece of paper that we're gonna write down. We're gonna implement the magic of narration in Gemini, and we're gonna write down certain things that will direct the flow of energy. And included in this will be a soulmate activation. We've done rituals where we've called in our soulmate. So now that the portal is open, we can call in our soulmate again, but we're not just going to be calling in a specific soulmate. We're going to be calling in the energy of the relationship. So we called in the soulmate last time. Now we're going to be calling in the energy of the relationship, so that any vibrational matches, our best vibrational, not who you think it is, but our best vibrational match will now come and be led to the energy we pull in. It's going to be a simple intention. So that being said, get to know each other. That's really interesting. I feel like this is going to open for everyone. But anyway, Aries moon, Aries rising. This is a very important chapter for you, because there's a very important need for you to embrace how well you're going to allow yourself to express the ideas of the budding philosophies that you've been having. Okay. Now, just to interrupt, the soulmate activation and the ritual that we're going to do is the Ace of Wands. So this is very pivotal energy. Um, just know that doing this activation is going to spark up and accelerate this. So it's going to work. This is going to activate your soulmate relationship. And from now until the full moon in Virgo, it's going to come in. So keep that in mind. But Aries rising, Aries moon, you want to make sure that the ideas you're expressing to people align with the beliefs in yourself that you're ready to show. You definitely want to show and prove all day. Sorry, every single part of this transit. We have the Four of Wands for you as a bottom card. So there's going to be great celebration, but interestingly enough, once again, there seems to be a certain sense of maybe convincing or someone trying to convince you. The Judgment card is really speaking of awakening happening over this next 2 weeks so that you're in a much better position to understand where everything aligns. Look to any miscommunication between someone to be completely cleared up, and that's what's going to lead to that reunion. Rest and relaxation is essential. We all have a fundamental need to take breaks. Okay. Taurus rising, Taurus moon. This full moon in Gemini for you is going to allow you at a great level to develop the trust needed to express more of your values and to tell people how valuable you are. This is what's going to evoke a more courageous and adventurous nature and how you infiltrate the secret spaces of others. Not that you have to infiltrate, but you'll be in a greater position to, ooh, nice. You'll be in a greater position to actually, work through any challenges. Once again, this has much to do with releasing that which you don't need so that you can produce better. But we have the star. So during this cycle, you're going to gain hope over anything that you might have lost hope on, and certain close dreams, some really passionate dreams are going to come true. All right. And we do have these three. There's a victory against evil that you're going to win. This is you as the King of Pentacles, and I see this Eight of Wands as the arrows of truth and love exposing this Ten of Swords. So there's an end of a very difficult situation. And what's really important here is that I see you, Taurus, during this period coming into great clarity through really gaining victory over an antagonist, and that antagonist could be a negative thought you've had. Things are going to really move really quickly so that you can finally move on from a very difficult situation that's been holding you back. It's over. And even though the Ten of Swords is negative, having the star card there lets you know it's all for your renewal. Okay. Gemini moon, Gemini rising. This full moon in your sign is going to clear your vibration so that you can step in to the fated partnerships that you're supposed to, and so that you can express your truth directly to people with more conviction and honesty. Taurus, the oracle card that I got for you is I love you. These are very important words. So make sure you say that when you can. This is interesting though. Gemini, we do have the Nine of Wands. So the Nine of Wands for you is talking about actually not necessarily giving up. You don't want to be in a position where you allow yourself to stop when you're so close. But Gemini, I kind of see this as more discernment. I get the sense that you're in a position where your heart might be closed off, because we even have the Five of Cups So this isn't anything that's going to happen. You're coming into this full moon in Gemini with perhaps something that you're having to walk away from, but you have the world card here. So it's like there's certain success and completion you have, but it may not fulfill you. This Three of Swords, in one sense, is saying you might have to it's like you finally adjust emotionally, but then you turn around and you're like, oh, snap, this is success. But in order to gain the success, you have to let go of what you have to let go of maybe something you've been disappointed about in order to harness this. But I don't know, Gemini or Gemini Moon, Gemini Rising. It does kind of seem a bit chaotic for you. Definitely a lot of sacrifice and emotional release so that you can conclude something. But definitely don't necessarily lose hope, no matter how negative it may seem. And we have be supportive, make a genuine effort to show you care. Cancer, this full moon in Gemini is going to release very important habits so that you can focus more on being excited about what you do and changing how you think in certain ways so there's more focused productivity. All right. The oracle card we have for you is get to know each other. Learning to meet another's needs for love is important for a relationship to grow. And oops, the cards that we have with the Hermit card are speaking of you having to be in a position this period to just trust your inner wisdom. You may not necessarily be able to identify with most others, but you don't want that to allow you to doubt yourself. Okay. And we do have the Devil card as well as the Queen of Swords, which is going to illustrate you having to more or less deal with a different level of discernment to where you're not necessarily allowing certain people to challenge you in ways that are not necessarily fair. You're going to have to go through certain conflicts. And I feel this Devil Queen of Swords could be someone who wants to micromanage you and someone who wants to antagonize you. So make sure you draw the appropriate boundaries where necessary. All right. And don't let this person talk to you any which way. Leo moon, Leo rising, this full moon in Gemini is going to help you release certain perceptions about important friends or networks in your life so that once again, you're in a greater position to focus more on your heart's desires. You honestly have a great ability to cultivate your talents so that you can align them with the right people, but you want to really let go of others who don't really see into your vision. The Sun card, of course, is saying that this is going to be a very exciting and enlightening period. And ironically, though, with these pentacles, there is just going to be a lot of excitement coming through work and seeing your projects kind of grow. The presence of this queen is going to help you get a lot of your work underway as she takes care of stuff you need to take care of. And then the Seven of Pentacles is just saying you're going to see the work you put in grow. So it's definitely talking about a very productive period for you. And the Oracle card that we have for you is honesty is essential. To be a loving person, it is important that we speak truthfully and in a loving manner. So, Virgo moon, Virgo rising. Virgo moon, Virgo rising. you really want to ask yourself how well the private themes in your life are worth bringing to the public light, because there's a greater element of vulnerability that has to be explored with this Saturn level. So you're more confident in asserting yourself in the world, and you don't let any private issues take away from the truth you have to speak. But just know most of what you're going through is temporary. This may be a bit challenging because of all the opposition to Neptune, the square to the moon, and the square to the sun. But just know anything that changes is meant to. All right. The oracle card we have for you is show simple acts of kindness. A simple act of kindness can energize you and bring happiness to those around you. All right. And we have the death and the emperor. So you're going to find changes and transformations necessary to bring more stability and order into your life. And we have the five of swords. So the bottom card here is the king of swords. Thank you, sunflower showers. But you know what I'm saying? This king of swords could probably be someone who's antagonistic towards you. It's saying you want to be objective, but it could be an Aquarius who gets all on your shit, Virgo. I mean, this could be someone who makes life a bit difficult, and you might have to fight with this person. So keep that in mind. Any such transformations will be in an effort to deal with a control freak or someone who wants to help bring more order to you. Okay. Libra, Libra moon, Libra rising. This full moon in Gemini will take a whole lot of the ideas you've been developing and show you whether the logic is true about it or not. And this could really inspire you with greater skills in how you express your ideas, as you see certain theories are not really just theories anymore. But you want to be mindful that you're not getting distracted from any work you have to do because of nebulous influences that want to take you off your game. The Knight of Pentacles as a bottom card is once again reiterating the important need to really focus on the practical card, the practicality that you're experiencing, and also to make sure you're not necessarily letting yourself slow down. But you know what, Libra, this Knight of Pentacles is going to be someone that wants to enter your life. And I get the sense you might be in a hurt position, or you could be this Knight of Pentacles, but I sense this Knight of Pentacles wants to get into this life. This could be you. And whoever this Knight of Wands is, they're heartbroken. So they're not letting anyone in their life. But the Judgment card is talking about an awakening to where you realize this Knight of Pentacles is someone positive for you and someone you can trust. So you're starting off this with a profound shift. And the Three of Swords, of course, is dealing with certain recent betrayals that will eventually shift for you. And we have get to know each other. Learning to meet another's needs for love is important for a relationship to grow. So yeah, you're going to be in a position to get to know this Knight of Pentacles. Scorpio, Scorpio moon, Scorpio rising. This full moon in Gemini wants to evoke and expose any trust issues you have, so that you remember who you are and you remember that you're amazingly valuable and you can manifest joy through alchemy and transmuting negative, vibrations. So you want to welcome any social anxiety that comes through so that it can motivate you to see that you really are stronger than it. Ultimately, the cards are good. We do have the Five of Swords, so there is going to be a certain argument that occurs. But if any bridges burn, let that be a sign to you that it was meant to burn. Okay, there's a silver lining in anything that kind of occurs like so. And the Six of Swords and the Hierophant is more or less speaking of you sailing towards a positive future and also gaining enough productive sense to produce stuff based off of the higher knowledge you're gaining. You're going to come into more practical ways to show others that you know what you're learning, And, let that Six of Swords let you know things are getting better, even if it doesn't seem that way. Oracle card we have is Have Faith. Trust your faith in this situation. So, Sagittarius moon, Sagittarius rising. Oops. This full moon in your 7th house is releasing certain connections or relationships with other people that don't necessarily align with your truth and with who you really are, so that you can still understand how the energy works, but also be in a better position to embrace the meaning of what it is you're ready to step into. But know that with Neptune that's still in your 4th, it's going to be a private understanding of energy that will color how people kind of, lie to themselves or lie to you or tell you the divine truth. But anything that you're kind of letting go, know that it will come back in new form, which is important to release. Some of you may think that you met certain people for no reason, but it's all part of it. Grand divine plan. And once again, we kind of have this theme here. So the Knight of Wands is saying to, of course, embrace your passionate self. You're going to come into great inspiration and creative ideas. You may find yourself moving, changing residence, kind of running errands. But I also see this as you, right? Because we have you walking away. You're starting the transit very similar to Gemini. Gemini had the 5 of Cups. You have the 8 of Cups. Both you and Gemini are having to shed or leave something. Even if you don't let it go physically, at some level you're going to have to let it go. And it's interesting because I see this 8 of Cups walking towards this Page of Swords. And Sagittarius, you might be the Page of Swords that's just contemplating. You know what I'm saying? Emotionally adjusting. And you may have an encounter with this individual, but whoever you walk away from, you'll kind of be, sorting through your mind until the new moon so that you can gain new creativity and sort out what has gone. And this is a full moon in your 7th house. So we have, look at your pattern in relationships. It requires inner strength to recognize that you need to change or modify your behavior. All right. Capricorn rising, and Capricorn moon. This full moon in Gemini is actually going to prepare you to develop a new way of thinking so that you can develop more your spirituality and the way you see into spiritual experiences by changing how you think about them. So certain things that were in front of your face, you're understanding the meaning of so much more potently. Okay. Damn, we got some exciting cards for you though. The Oracle card we have for you is Practice Compassion. And compassion is definitely speaking of you being in a position to see things from a different perspective. We do have the Page of Wands, so there's going to be a new friend or a desire for power that will bring in quite exciting news. But Capricorn, this is talking about over the next 2 weeks, great relationship juju. We have the Ace of Cups and the Ace of Pentacles. So if you're single, this could be a brand new relationship that has great love and something practical in the works, or a new phase where you're working together with a partner, because we have the Lovers card at the end. So this is going to be really exciting and really creative, to where you and another person at a soulmate level are kind of fulfilling your purpose together and starting this wave of newness. So congratulations. Aquarius moon, Aquarius rising. You want to make sure that the personal desires of your heart are aligning with the ambitions of people around you. And it's going to be a full moon transit like this that will open up more so or less to how well you can incorporate your knowledge and allow others to see into the genius of it instead of kind of being split between both. So you really allow this time to share your creative thoughts with the right people. And I think we got cards similar to Cancer. Interestingly enough, was it Cancer? Yeah, we got the cards similar to Cancer, where maybe that Queen of Swords was in a Libra, maybe it was in Aquarius, because we have the Five of Wands. Aquarius, for you, you're going to gain growth through challenge. Any opportunity to compete, any opportunity to go through some struggle, you're going to gain courage through going through that. So don't shy from it. And this could also be a conflict. We have the Queen of Swords, but she could be in an antagonistic sense, especially with the Devil and the Seven of Cups. There may have to be the dealing of certain substance abuse. You could be this Queen of Swords dealing with someone who's just kind of in the funk. And there might be that's kind of where this challenge and struggle can be. Maybe you might find it's difficult to keep your mind focused as well because of certain issues, balancing it out. But know this is temporary and necessary. Okay. The Oracle card we have for you is embrace your emotions. Don't push down your feelings or judge your emotions. Okay. And finally, Pisces. Pisces, this full moon in Gemini is going to help you shed private thoughts about yourself. Any insecurities about yourself or private thoughts that aren't real based off of what people kind of say or any gossip, you can let go of. Unfortunately, we do have the Five of Swords, so similar to someone else, bridges may be burned. Okay. Interestingly enough, I see you here opening your heart to someone who probably hates you. So there might be some unrequited love going on. But I mean, screw those losers. You don't need anyone who doesn't really see into how cool you are. And we have the High Priestess, we have the Hierophant, and the Six of Swords. So whatever kind of there's a sailing away from the status quo. You're moving away from the traditional way of doing things, and you're gonna find yourself, working on your own to productively put into motion a lot of your ideas. Okay. And the Oracle card we have for you is you are limitless. You recognize this truth. You can do anything you choose to do. I love this card. Okay. Interestingly enough, we got the Limitless and the Two of Pentacles with the Infinity. So you're going to tap into that profoundly. The card that I have for all the signs, okay? Interestingly enough, it mirrors Gemini. We got the same Nine of Wands and the Three of Swords, the World, and the Five of Cups. And it's a full moon in Gemini. So that's why Geminis might probably embody most of what's kind of coming through. Really, this is just talking about any facets, any kind of like attachments that are holding you back from jailbreaking and releasing. You're gonna really just have to like say goodbye to. And don't even feel bad about it, because anything you're having to let go pales into comparison to what you're gonna manifest. And it's just emotionally adjusting. Love who you are. You are a divine and wonderful person deserving all the wonderful things that life has to offer. So make sure you definitely love it. And with that being said, we are now ready to do the ritual. So we do have the Magician card. Once again, the effects of this ritual are going to work. The soulmate activation is going to open up the grounds for new relationships and connections to open up. Okay, so keep that in mind. We're going to do both rituals in tandem. So make sure you get a paper, and we want to incorporate the Gemini air sign aspect of this to write down our intentions. What you're going to do now is In this piece of paper, you're just going to write down your truth. We don't need to do any special affirmations. We don't have to do any special rituals. If you want to add on to this, you are more than welcome because this will add on to the potency. But we've already done the affirmation 6 months ago. Now, all we have to do is just write down on a piece of paper. We're going to now implement the narrative portion of this. Narration is Aquarius, and Aquarius is the third house writing of Sagittarius. So, what you want to do is you don't have to give yourself a time limit. All right. We're not dealing with time here. So, you're not, but you want to write what your future is going to be. Okay. We're going to take the theme of a show. You can be in your own anime, real life show, or real life. It doesn't have to be a show, but I want you to now write the table of contents for the next chapter. If you want to get creative, you could write more books, but I want you to write the table of contents. So moving forward, for example, for me, um, moving forward, chapter one for me is the raising of the kundalini, and then chapter two for me is the montage scene where I'm training, and then chapter three for me is where I infiltrate to get my ancient artifacts back. It's squaring Neptune, so you want to implement some fantasy in whatever way you can, but write this down. Okay, know that everything you write down, once you finish writing it down, we'll do the breathing exercise, or you can do that now. Breathe in what it is you intend to manifest, feel that greatness, and then breathe out gratitude. Like, yes, you're breathing out in your world. So do that as you write it down, and you could write as long as you want. Once you've written it down, all right, what you're going to do after that, and also what you're going to include is to write down the truth of your soulmate relationship. We're intertwining the truth of you with the truth of your soulmate relationship so that we can put this all together. So you're going to write the table of contents. You could do the chapter one, or it doesn't have to be a chapter to you too, but just write down all this. Like, you've now come into who you are and the truth of that. So what is it that you're ready to experience? Write down the experiences that you're ready to step into, and know that whatever you write down, picture it's Stranger Than Fiction, the movie. Whatever you write down is what you're going to experience. This is that ritual, okay? We're not going to do a timing thing, so you don't have to say this has to happen by this time. You're just going to write it down. You're writing down to the universe what's going to happen, because you're writing your truth. You're narrating your truth, okay? And you can write this down any way you want, but the soulmate activation of this is to also write down not who you're thinking of, but the nature of the relationship. Okay. You could say, I manifest this relationship. Okay. So what you're doing is you're writing down the parameters of who you're willing to be and what the relationship is, so that once the ritual is done, you're in a position, your soulmate, your vibrational match will walk into it. Okay. And after you're done writing all of this, as you're breathing, whenever you're ready, after the Q&A, you can just burn the paper and just let it happen. We're burning it with Sagittarius into the ethers. Okay. So once again, you really just you're not writing what you wish to happen. You're writing as if you're the narrator of your life, and you're sequencing the next events that are going to happen as if you're in a pilot or in a book. And everything you write, you know, the events that happen will kind of open up to that. It's a little bit of a reality bending, okay? So let's take some time to write this down. Be careful what you wish for. Amen. Just like Dan said. What you're basically doing is you're writing the sequence of how you're going to experience what you're stepping into. Once you burn it to the universe because you're co-creating, it may not manifest in that exact way, but you're giving the universe this because this is a co-creation we're doing. All right. You're stepping into your intent and then you're also in the universe. Fill it into. All right, y'all. The only final thing you have to do at the bottom of the paper is to sign the document with your zodiac sun sign glyph. All Alrighty. So when you have your paper ready, what you'll then do is so what you want to do now is you put your right hand on the signature of your zodiac glyph, and you can say it in any way you want, but just simply say, I now call in the relationship with my divine partner and activate the energy of this soulmate union. Simple as that. And as you're breathing, feel yourself drawing this energy and channel it with your breath to the paper. So once you feel you're ready, after you've affirmed that, you're done. And the Four of Wands is saying there will be results from this. So keep breathing it in, fold this up, and once you burn the paper, you have released it. And congratulations. That's it. Once again, you can make this as intricate. You can use more than one page if you want to go super detailed. Totally encourage that. And yeah. So don't worry so much about how to do what you said. When we have this Virgo season or full moon in Virgo, this is what's going to help you gain greater clarity on how. Okay. And just know what you're seeking is seeking you. So don't forget that. All right. Very interesting, because I got a accurate representation. We have the Four of Wands, and then we have the subconscious spiritual energy, High Priestess, and the Magician. So this is the archetype of your soulmate reunion. And I think this is interesting. Behind the Hierophant, the High Priestess, we have the Page of Cups. Okay. And let's do it like this. Behind the High Priestess, we have the Page of Cups. And then behind the Magician, we have the Knight of Pentacles going towards that page. All right. So I think that's quite interesting. Got Abundance and Empress here. So don't necessarily be in a rush, write as long as you want. Once you're done writing, sign with the sign of your zodiac glyph, and then just make the verbal intention to call in the relationship, and then channel as much energy as you need to the paper. And when you're done, burn it. So I hope you're ready. It's coming in. Doing rituals and shift points like this kind of force trigger the energy. It doesn't really force it, but definitely potent though. So thank you guys once again for joining this webinar. Great success. Please, if you have any questions and answers, if you have any questions, you can answer yourself too. But if you have any questions, I'm totally open to answer them right now. Should they have anything to do, of course, with this webinar or the full moon in Gemini? Amen. The last message that I have for y'all is to have faith. Whatever situation that you're in, definitely have faith and trust your faith in this situation. All right. What is your favorite tarot card? My favorite tarot card is the Magician. I really love the Chariot though. And I'm starting to really like the Hermit too, but I got to give it up. The Magician I love. I love so many cards though, but I'm gonna say the Magician. Um, any personal predictions you have just from your own intuition? Yeah, OJC. There's an encounter between your individual self. Like there's 12 different zodiac signs, but what makes you there's something there's one of the only few things in life that transcend astrology, and that's your own personal awareness of yourself. The 13th sign is starting to come out into the open. And the 13th sign is you. You go through the 12 initiations of the zodiac signs to come into who you are. So you're breaking into your 13th sign. No longer are you just favoring your moon or your sun. Who is the combination of all your planets together? What is this 13th sign, the you in between all of them, right? So you really want to embrace more of this uniqueness as you start to transcend certain archetypes and just be open to how your psychic power will speak to you. So you do it in certain different ways. Some of you are trying to meditate, but your soul doesn't want to meditate. The way your soul meditates is by snorting coke and running on the treadmill. That's just like a horrible example, but you have to be open to something different. Ethernosis, you ate a whole pack of Starbursts today because you're just fed up with the way the world is and you don't understand why people don't like yellow starbursts enough. And so you just had to eat all the starbursts so you don't discriminate against other starbursts, like the pink one that's just way too popular. Okay. This full moon will be happening on my descendant. How will this affect me in my relationships? Kristen, this is going to really unveil more the truth of what it is you're going through, and you might be disappointed when certain motives are revealed, but just allow whatever occurs to help you see what's happening. And if anything, a lot of this negativity, I know I pulled the Five of Cups and the Three of Swords. That's going to be talking about maybe your soulmate. It's going to be talking about someone important to you that you have to deal with instead of being you. So just have compassion for that person. Oops. I just ended the Pisces relationship. Communication didn't line up, but I swear the energy was the most fulfilling. I am not understanding if this was for me just to see what is to come. Not see her, yeah, it really has much to do with you seeing what's to come. And much of it isn't over because when you deal with mutable signs, they always come back. And it's a Mercury retrograde. But I get the sense in both our cases, you know what I'm saying? It's so that we can see what's possible because relationships like this showed us that we can access depth of feeling that we didn't know we could. So now that we know we could, it's just kind of opening up more. But the good thing to know is that you will get the fulfilling relationship you want. And that's what we all need to embrace right now. I got the Chariot at the end. Margaret, the Chariot is talking about not only success, but personal victory you make for yourself. It's one of my favorite cards in the tarot too, because it just definitely speaks of fighting that good fight and having control over natural forces that can tempt you away from victory. Is it common to feel drawn to stand your ground in this full moon, Mercury retrograde? Amen, Yvonne. Definitely. It's common to stand your ground closer to when we have Saturn transits, but Mercury retrogrades and, of course, this full moon will have you stand your ground in the sense where the information you're reevaluating, you stand up for ideas you know are true. And the full moon will have you come into great completion as well of any of the energy. Okay. Moon Bay, just have faith. You will manifest your twin flame relationship. It's just not necessarily going to be what you thought because it's going to be more advanced. So it's just more making sure both of you can perceive this. What's up with my new Gemini love interest? Your new Gemini love interest is transitioning from the fuckery that all Geminis had to experience. So they may be leaving a fog or a funk, but as long as you could be patient with them, you got yourself a good partner. Can you? Can you pull a card for all the spells that I've been doing that have been delaying up until now? Um, Empress, the Four of Wands is, I don't want to pull cards for people. So if you could ask a question that's more transit based, the Four of Wands is saying they are going to come into results this week, though, this lunar cycle. How's the Gem moon on my seventh house in Gem? Divine partner has Venus and rising in Gem. Anything to expect? It's going to really reveal the truth about other people so that this will give you a greater understanding about how you express yourself that causes people to react in certain ways. So just adjust the strength of your truth and how much you need to hold back or say more. I have Gemini in seventh and eighth house. How does this affect my Scorpio ascendant? Because Jupiter is here, this is now going to implement this greater evolution of your personality with how intensely you could speak your truth because you believe and trust more in yourself. Well, I mean, Miss Kiki, most of this full moon will be in your 12th house coming into your first. So you're going to see a lot of your life change because a whole lot of the decisions you make for your behavior and routine will be prioritized on what brings great joy to you instead of, superficial joy. And you'll find that a lot of your thoughts change surrounding how you live your life, which is going to lead into great positivity. How does this full moon intensify Saturn leaving Sagittarius? Will Saturn leaving our sign make things lighter? Yes, it will make things lighter. And the full moon intensifies Saturn because it's the final time Saturn will be there. So this is going to feel like a closure. And it's really it's like, okay, you've learned your lesson, Sagittarius. Now I can reward you as you move forward, even though Saturn rewards you with like quarters. But still, it's more so the strength of quality you gain. That's the reward. Oh, gotcha. Mercedes Watkins, we have the strength and the star. Once again, I don't want to pull cards, but the strength, I want to pull them for you because the strength, the star, and the 10 of cups is saying you have no right to doubt. Like you're gonna have that super twin flame. You are that right now, and you're going to connect with someone before your 30s, and it's going to be like happily ever after. So I slipped up too. I wasn't hopeful in both our cases, Mercedes. Like we have an idea of who we think it is, but who it actually is going to be even way better. So don't worry about how you're doing it. Just keep faith and just know this journey is coming through. Um, what's happening on the work front for me during this time? Jody Donald, this is actually going to inspire you to express more of your ideas with certain associates you work with, because this will now start to influence how certain people you work with kind of think just through the subtle, guidance that you express. So you'll find that you're sharing more of your ideas, and to you, it'll just be ideas, but to the people you share them to, it's going to be quite interesting. Okay. Being been trying to close a deal for 6 weeks. Is this it? Karen, wait, you still want to wait a couple more weeks just until Saturn is fully into Taurus. But this is it. I mean, Capricorn, but this is it. This is it. This is what you've been waiting for sure. But I mean, it's still during a Mercury retrograde. So there's going to be a couple of complications, but you're going to start to see this finally like moving. My side dude has Venus in Gem. That's hilarious. All right, y'all. Thank you guys once again for ordering this and for asking your questions. I'm going to end the Q&A here. Y'all stay blessed. And once again, once you burn this paper, all right, release any expectation. Once you burn this paper, you need to release any expectation of it coming true. And you need to know that the burning of this paper is symbolic with you walking forward into everything that you've written down as truth. All right. The high priestess is saying there's going to be an upgrade of your intuition of how you perceive this and understand this as well. Okay. So, with that being said, my friends, you stay blessed. I'm glad we could do this ritual together. Peace.